number. There's just too big of a margin between Trump and Biden voters in like 4 or 5 states that you got nothing. Like you can't do the 2000 Florida results over and over again. You can't run that plan because now you have to run it in many states. Just like I originally said, it was hilarious when half the country was like, you know, stop the count, and half the country was saying, keep the count, keep counting, don't stop the count. You know, Trump supporters were a mess at that point, where they couldn't figure out, where they could not fucking figure out whether you need to stop the count or start the count. So you can't run like that. You can't run a successful initiative to steal the fucking election when it's all over the place.
Being worked through as we speak. And in Georgia, any day, the state legislature could stand up and require signature verification in that state. That one act would give Donald Trump the state of Georgia. There was a rejection rate of mail-in ballots of over 6% in 2016. After the illegal consent decree that was done without legislature approval, it went down to 1/3 of 1% at the same time as the number of mail-in ballots increased exponentially. Guys.
Okay. It's because they did not have signature matching. So, again, the hilarity in this situation is basically saying, this is fucked up. Signature matching is a specific part of our voter suppression strategy. This is how we literally eliminate Democratic votes from the process. Why are you taking this away from us? The argument here isn't, oh my God, they allowed so many fake people to vote. The argument is, holy shit, in prior years, they were probably eliminating 6% of the fucking vote across the board.
That's not possible unless there is massive fraud.
Also, another change here is that there was ballot curing that was happening too. Another reason for why the number is so low is partially because 6% of mail-in votes. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. That's what we're talking about. So the situation here is this was a different election. There were a lot more people voting by mail, so there was a lot more people telling you how to vote by mail, so you don't fucking slip up. So that's going to decrease the percentage of people that fucked up and like sent in incorrect votes. You could also cure your ballot. A significant decrease in the number of people that are going to avoid having their votes cast as fraudulent or having their votes get purged for no reason. Okay? The Trump team needs to hire Minecraft speedrun moderators who are willing to grift for them. Exactly. You have 240K viewers on election day. Tommy Innit is having a 270K on a random stream. What a life a 16-year-old has. I mean, he's playing Minecraft. He's like a Minecraft streamer, brother. That's like, I can't compare myself to Minecraft streamers and their audiences. We have entirely different audiences and we talk about entirely different things. I can only compare myself to other content creators in this space. And I think I'm doing pretty all right. I love the community that I've been able to put together and it's great. Yeah, like he's playing Minecraft to like 12-year-olds. They're very active on the internet. They're huge, and it's wonderful that they've been able to build a community. But you have to provide a valid ID to request the ballot. I don't understand how they can call it fraudulent, but more so than people fucking believe them. It's because in every state they have a different method of going through. There's a different process. I'm a Texan who goes to school at UCLA. When I requested my ballot back in October, I did not receive it until a week after the election. It's so frustrating how blatantly obvious Republican election fraud is, yet they're pointing the finger. Oh, yeah. No, I'm not going to watch the Dan Crenshaw cringe video again. We already did that.
Fraud.
Stephen, so
The reason for these alternative electors is to give them the illusion that Trump just won with the Electoral College and it's working. Breaking. Dueling electors sent to PAGA and now Nevada. Assuming Pence chooses 3 electors over the fraud electors, Trump has just officially won.
My streamer. Hassle.
Congratulations to President Trump. Oh, fuck you, Will. Dude, you're going to... I mean, Will is memeing, but it's funny to think that like people actually believe this shit.
Exponentially. Guys, that's not possible unless there is massive fraud.
Stephen, so if there were underage people voting, if there were...
10% of them said it was stolen, dude. What the fuck? Really? God, people are so stupid. I mean, just because you're a Democrat doesn't mean that you're automatically smart. Many Democrats are stupid as fuck. 10% of them are really fucking stupid.
Criminals vote.
Or really funny. If we're being real, it's probably that they're really funny. They're like, yeah, we stole it, bitch. What are you going to do about it? You should have stolen it better, bitch.
Voting if there was illegal ballots cast. Your legal team in almost every state 50 times lost, some with Trump judges. So do you have the worst legal team who just don't seem to be presenting a good case, or are you just too late and this case should have been brought before the election?
We did bring these cases before the election.
It's both.
But would you have to...
It's both. It's literally both. It's literally both. They should have brought half the cases that they brought before the election, and they didn't on purpose because their goal wasn't to like actually change this process. Their goal was to purge as many votes as possible after the fact. And secondly, their legal team is truly... and I mean truly, remarkably incompetent. So much so that they just can't even start these fucking half the time they can't even start these lawsuits.
Appreciate and realize is that the pressure from the corrupt corporate media to make everybody cave and bend is overwhelming. It is overwhelming. And so, yes, judges are caving. Yes, politicians are caving. We need heroes to step up and do the right thing. Ask yourself this question. If Democrats really believe, if Democrat officials really believe that these results are lawful and honest, why are they opposing an audit of the vote? Why are they opposing that we take the ballots?
But they're not. That's not even true. I mean, numerous recounts have occurred in states like Georgia, for example. There was a hand recount even on top of that. In Wisconsin, there was a recount that gave 84 extra votes to Donald Trump. A little, just a ways out from actually making up that big difference in Wisconsin. That cost $3 million, as a matter of fact. So they are doing recounts. They're doing multiple hand recounts, and it's still not happening. So the audit number is hilarious. They want a real recount, LMAO, where Dem votes get tossed left and right. Yeah.
So we take the envelopes and we actually match them up to real human beings. Do you realize that in not one state that's been contested, they've actually done a forensic analysis of the vote to see how many illegal aliens and dead people voted?
What? Wait, what? But they did. But how many illegal aliens voted?
Love the stream.
Fucking psycho, dude. Forensic analysis, like, yeah, we got to make sure that we figure out the DNA of every single person that voted. Fuck.
Democrats have opposed that at every single step of the way. Meanwhile, we've tweeted out the names and the pictures of the dead people who...
The hilarity is, no, they weren't even fucking dead. And the people that they tweeted out the pictures of were like actual people that fucking voted. That was also wrong. Very quickly falsified. For example, the conversation around the Pennsylvania voter, like a bunch of the voters that they said were dead were not dead. So I don't know what he's talking about there. Just because you fucking tweet something out does not mean that it actually happened. Does it mean, or does the term illegal alien sound extremely offensive? It is. It's on purpose. It's dehumanizing. That's why they say illegal alien. They want to like make it seem like these aren't human beings, but aliens, literally non-human. It doesn't matter. Don't get too caught up on that. He's a racist shitlord. Of course he's going to fucking say illegal alien.
voted in this election. That's just what we've been able to find. Imagine if you did a forensic analysis of the vote. Think about it. Using the pretext of COVID, state Democrats unilaterally changed their election laws for one sole purpose: to facilitate fraud. They weakened every single anti-fraud measure, and they did it unilaterally. They did it illegally, and now they're trying to...
The hilarity is, again, these were not unilateral illegal measures that the Democrats implemented. It was Republicans that also implemented these measures, because smart Republicans recognize that it's probably better to allow more Republicans to be able to vote in states like Florida or the states like Utah, where they already have universal ballot registration and mail-in ballots that are easily and readily accessible. So the first people that actually criticized Donald Trump when he went on this conquest of shitting on mail-in ballots were literally Republicans themselves. Republicans in red states with red state legislatures said, shut the fuck up, which is precisely why Donald Trump had to turn his rhetoric around, and instead of cast doubt on mail-in ballots across the board, he literally said, no, it's good when the Republicans do it. It's bad when the Democrats do mail-in ballot registration universally, but it's good when the Republicans do it. Those states know how to do it. And now, ironically, they are fucking even complaining about a state that is run by Republicans, like Georgia, because that state allowed Donald Trump to lose. That's literally it. Anyway. Also, it's top of the hour, every hour. It's time for a 60-second ad break right now. A contractual obligation. I'm going to run an ad real quick. It's 1 minute long. If you no longer like to see the ads and want an ad-free broadcasting experience, all you need to do is subscribe. You can do it for $5 or for free by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. Get one free Twitch Prime a month right now. Here's the ad.
The results by opposing audits of the vote. You only do that.
Well, in Georgia, there were...
Explanation of the process with different state electors. The statute provides that in such an event, the governor's signature is conclusive. I don't see any of those other putative slates of electors coming in with such an endorsement. Don't be distracted by these preposterous mock electoral votes. They don't change anything, how anything is going to unfold, since congressional Republicans could have objected without them. Either way, without a House majority, all Republicans can do is slow the counting down on 1/6, not stop it. So you are assuming that the VP is going to accept Biden votes if the Houses are split. The statute provides that in such an event, the governor's signature is conclusive. Yeah. Their federalism is is unironically a good thing that happened in this instance, where like a governor is the god king of its own state in that way. Now, there are Republican governors out there, but a lot of Republican governors are still not as shitty as like the Republican Party itself. Oftentimes governors are apolitical, really, unless they're doing gerrymandering, or unless they're electing like a Republican to assigning a position of power to a Republican or whatever, depending on what state we're in. But in blue states, you have Republican governors, for example. So they're not going to go against it. They're less likely to fucking go along. They're less likely to they're less likely to be like idiotic pro-Trump shills than other Republican Party members, especially if they're in states that are battleground states that are contested. You understand? All 16 of Georgia's electors have cast their votes for Joseph Robinette Biden. Not Kim Reynolds from Iowa. Okay, but Kim Reynolds from Iowa is insignificant because Iowa already is red, and Donald Trump won Iowa. If Iowa was a battleground state still and it was contested, then we would, and that actually Joe Biden had won Iowa, but the electors were like holding up the process, then that would be a different conversation to have. My state's Rhino Governor Charlie Baker, yeah. This is Democratic Georgia Republican who did a review herself of all the dead votes outside voters lists in the state in hearing against the Trump team. Yeah, I don't care. We don't need to look at all that. Okay, this is this fucking thing is so
to cover up the results by opposing audits of the vote. You only do that.
Well, in Georgia,
if you want fraud and encourage fraud.
In Georgia, there was a Republican Secretary of State and a Republican governor.
That's right.
And it's a shameful episode. It's a shameful episode. And we need signature matching in that state. And if we did, Brian, Donald Trump's the winner of Georgia. We're going to win the Senate races, too. And if we similarly correct the defects that I just identified in other swing states, it's all over. Donald Trump has 270.
All right. Thanks so much. We'll see what's next.
Thank you. Thanks so much. They did it illegally, and now they're trying to...
This is hilarious, dude. Why do Bernie Progs sound so much like Stephen Miller when talking about the DNC? What do you mean, Bernie Progs? Okay, let me explain something to you. The DNC is a private organization that, in a court case, has argued that they do not have to hold fair and free elections whatsoever. The entire purpose of the DNC is literally just choosing whoever the fuck the DNC wants to choose as their main candidate. That's why we have superdelegates, for example. Okay? So technically, the DNC can do whatever the fuck it wants to. Now, as far as like, irregularities in the primaries voting process, I am not one that says like they changed out votes or all this other shit. But when we talk about the primaries and Bernie Sanders' chance in the primaries both in 2016 and now, it's just around media manipulation and it's just around collusion with the media. Things that are out and about and things that people know about already. Whether it is direct collusion with campaigns like they did in 2016, or whether it is just simply manufacturing consent and having a negative approach and a negative opinion of socialism or leftist values in general as a consequence of the media being the fourth estate that upholds the capitalist hegemonic culture and capitalist attitudes. So that's precisely what that is. It's not about like the DNC changing votes or whatever legally. I have not advocated for that. I don't think that that's what happened. I still don't think that that's what happened. Even in Iowa, I think that it was purposeful slowing down the process, specifically so that they would diminish the importance of Iowa itself. That it has nothing to do with like literally fucking changing the votes out or anything like that. Okay? So I don't know what you mean. There are plenty of fucking dumb people. There are dumb people that are in the Bernie Sanders coalition, just like there are dumb people in the Democratic Party, just like there are dumb people that are Republicans. There's just fucking stupid people that believe in crazy things. Okay? Tucker actually based? No. Again, dumb people in the Bernie Sanders base, or even in my audience, people who say things like Tucker Carlson is actually based. Tucker Carlson's not based. He's just telling you what you want to fucking hear. Stop being stupid. There's nothing wrong with being dumb either. You can learn. You can better yourself by reading and thinking critically about certain things. And that's it. We can only hope to get better every day. Bipartisan group in Congress just released the details of their stimulus bill.
Cover up the results by opposing audits of the vote. You only do that.
Well, in Georgia, there were
fraud and encourage fraud.
In Georgia, there was a Republican Secretary of State and a Republican governor.
That's right.
And it's a shameful episode. It's a shameful episode. And we need signature matching in that state. And if we did, Brian, Donald Trump's the winner of Georgia. We're going to win the Senate races, too. And if we similarly correct the defects that I just identified in other swing states.
You know what's funny? I never noticed this because I'm always so like predisposed with how disgusting of a vile scumbag Stephen Miller is, who is a fucking Nazi white nativist piece of shit. But I never noticed how much he sounds like a fucking annoying little Cali shit too. It is the votes. Yeah, we're gonna cure the fucking ballots, bro. Like, look, listen to the
governor.
That's right.
And it's a shameful episode. It's a shameful episode. And we need signature matching in that state. And if we did, Brian, Donald Trump's the winner of Georgia. We're going to win the...
If we did, Brian, Donald Trump's the winner of Georgia, Brian. Oh, fuck you, dude. You fucking little Valley girl bitch. Fuck you. That's exactly what Laura Ingraham said I was. He's such a little bitch. Lol, you're mad? I mean, hey... I am not a graceful winner, okay? If you want to say. You can say I'm mad. At least I'm not a fucking loser, though. Oh, suck my dick, baby. Suck my dick dry. Oh, my God. Hey, you might say I'm mad, but at least I didn't fucking lose, bitch.
Senate races, too. And if we similarly correct the defects that I just identified in other swing states,
right,
it's all over. Donald Trump
Stephen.
has 270.
All right. Thanks so much. We'll see what's next.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Literally, they did it illegally.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Shut the fuck up. Anyway. Anti-mask megaphone tirade. Oh, yeah, let's do it. Let's watch this shit. And I will talk about the AOC drama that has taken over left Twitter. Specifically the fucking idiots in my chat who are like, why aren't you talking about the AOC drama? We get it, bro. You hate electoralism. You hate AOC. We got it. You love Jimmy Dore. And you know better than everybody else. We got it. I'm going to get to it, okay? Where is that fucking idiot? Oh, here it is. Unbeast Ellie Giggle. Why aren't you talking about AOC, how Jimmy Dore? Pretty much everyone knows that AOC is fake now. You got her, dude. You fucking got her, dude. She's fucking fake, dude. Anyway, we're going to get to that in a little bit.
Guess what? They told us 15 days to stop the curve. Then they told us 30 days. Then they told us, if masks really work, why is it still a problem? If masks really work, why is this still a problem? Because the masks don't do anything. It is just a flu. We've already been exposed to it, folks. Do you know that the CDC in 2019, November and December, they went back and they tested blood from blood banks, and guess what? It already had COVID in it. You know why? Because it's the flu. Where are the people with the flu this season? Where are they?
Why don't masks work, I say, as I'm literally in the middle of an enclosed space, not wearing a mask and yelling at people. I wonder why mask wearing is not 100% effective.
You're getting told about. That's ridiculous. Okay, anybody who dies from COVID would have died from the regular flu. Do the study. Every year, 70,000 people die from the flu. Do you?
Divorce court or family court has really been a fucking a burden on American males. Like, males in America are not all right, folks. We are not doing all right. Especially cishet men. We are not doing all right. Divorce court. Ruined an entire generation of men, dude.
You know that? The basic flu. We were told that 2.5 million people were going to die. Do you know that 2.5 million people haven't died in the world? And there's 7.5 billion people on this planet. And they told us more than that was going to.
Why are they in a Costco? I don't know. It's really disrespectful to Costco. Okay, let's get to the fucking AOC drama, dude. Oh my God, she's so fucking fake, dude. We got her. We got her, folks. Where is the AOC drama? Does anyone have like a good video explaining it? I'm not gonna watch a Jimmy Dore video if that's what you want me to do. Let me tell you what I'm not gonna do. Watch a fucking Jimmy Dore video. So y'all talking about AOC, but I'm just trying to AOC some bitches. Nice. Okay, so from what I understand, Jimmy Dore had a tweet. A Jimmy Dore request was made to AOC. Amazing to see AOC nonstop gaslighting about the strategy of withholding her vote for Pelosi as speaker until Pelosi promises a Medicare for all vote. Everyone agrees this is a good idea except AOC. AOC schooled by NFL's Justin Jackson on forcing Medicare for all. Now, full disclosure, I've worked with Jimmy Dore in the past. I have had disagreements with him in the past as far as like
Canadian news when
not voting for Hillary Clinton and like allowing Donald Trump to win. I think that I was right about all the things that Donald Trump ended up doing, and I think he was wrong about all the things that Donald Trump ended up doing when he was in a position of power over the past 4 years. So I will preface that with this take. I do love Justin Jackson. I think he's a really nice person, really kind person. He's a really great person. I have disagreements with Jimmy Dore over his lack of criticism around Tulsi Gabbard, for example. So there's that too. So there was a conversation between Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Justin Jackson, NFL player Justin Jackson, friend of the show. He's great. This was, does anyone have that like actual back and forth convo? Not the Jimmy Dore one. I don't care about the video, but I want to see the actual convo. Oh, where is it? Let's see. So Jimmy Dore follows you? Of course he follows me. We fucking work together, man. Why wouldn't he follow me? Okay. Where is it? Oh, here it is. If AOC and the squad don't do what Jimmy Dore had suggested and withhold their vote for Pelosi for speakership, unless Medicare for All gets brought to the floor for a vote, they will be revealing themselves. Power concedes nothing without a demand. So this notion, this idea is true. Okay? Power concedes nothing without a demand. Absolutely correct. Okay? The idea itself, not voting for Pelosi for speakership and making demands by withholding that vote, absolutely great fucking idea. Okay? Incredible idea. Now, there are a couple problems with this still. One of them is the fact that there needs to be grassroots pressure being applied at every step of the way, maybe even work stoppages if necessary. We do not have the organizational power to be able to do that currently. Okay? But most importantly, and most significantly, are you guys saying still? The issue here is what the cause is. So withholding a vote for Pelosi for speakership, unless Medicare for All gets brought to the floor for a vote, will create a set of complications. Now, the goal is to show how fraudulent the Democratic Party is, right? The people on the ground want Medicare for All, but the Democratic voters or the Democratic politicians do not want it for their own personal interests, right? That's the take. The idea is to show that contradiction between what the Democrats say they want for the people, what the people actually want, versus what the Democratic politicians want. Because a lot of people think that Democrats are on board with Medicare for All, Democratic politicians, I mean, when they're actually not. Now, the issue here is how much power the mainstream media holds. Okay? The issue here is how much power the mainstream media holds. So, if you were to put Medicare for All in the forefront like this, every single part of the media, without any sort of organizational pressure in outside of Congress, would start absolutely shitting on Medicare for All. You would then create a narrative that like Medicare for All is a spoiler and Medicare for All is selfish. Medicare for All is a bad policy because it will simply never get passed. Democrats themselves do not want Medicare for All. This is exactly how the MSNBC and mainstream media would cover it. So the moment when you push for Medicare for All should be a moment when you actually have support, not when you don't have support and you want to fucking showcase how little support it has within the Democratic Party. What you should do instead is, knowing full well that they're not going to fucking fully get on board with it, pressure them to push for the public option. Because I personally speculate that the public option itself is not actually interested, that Democrats themselves are not going to push for the public option, regardless of how fucking popular it is, because they know how much contention is going to occur. No, they know how much money is going to be spent on attacking the public option. So what I would do in this circumstance, if I were to apply pressure, is to apply pressure for Democrats to do what they said they were going to do. Establishment Democrats literally fucking said that they were going to do public option. Let them fucking fall on that sword rather than destroy Medicare for All further. Rather than create a vulnerability within Medicare for All when people fucking turn around and say, oh, the Medicare for All would never pass. And the reason why it would never pass is because Democrats don't even want it. Democratic politicians don't even want it. And then that would create a cycle of negative coverage around Medicare for All that would make a lot of these Democratic voters also operate in a similar capacity to as they did in the primaries. Like, oh, well, we like Medicare for All, but it's simply impossible to pass. That's what I would do. Problem with the idea is that there isn't enough thought to give into step 2. The Dem votes aren't there yet, and with a razor-thin margin on Dem no's are over the margin. So you issue threats, hold your vote, and you lose. Then what? If you want to know who's opposed to it, look at the co-sponsor list. In contrast, you can use leverage to push for things that can happen and change, or change lives, i.e. a $15 minimum wage to vote in the first 100 days, doable. Elevating longtime progressive champions to important positions of leadership, also doable. That's the opportunity cost away. Again, Tulsi Gabbard, Jimmy Dore's favorite fucking person, has spent most of her time defending Joe Biden, saying Joe Biden is great, running turf bills about protecting the integrity of female sports in the middle of a fucking pandemic. Why is Tulsi Gabbard not fucking advocating for Medicare for all, for example? There it is. So I believe that we should, Democrats in positions of power should try to apply pressure, should try to push back, should use their influence. But most importantly, yeah, Tulsi is anti-Medicare for all. I know. Why aren't they there? The people of the party are there. It's not acceptable. Leadership isn't there. If they have no threat of not staying in leadership, what's the point? Pelosi was speaking for 2 years with no Medicare for all vote. What's your plan to force her to get a vote? Why aren't they there is the real question. We watched the presidential debates and saw how many fiercely defended our for-profit insurance system, but know that the movement pressure, positive support, primaries, popularity, organizing, etc. is working. More co-sponsors now than ever. Would love for Democrats to be on the record denying their constituents healthcare during a pandemic. Sounds like good politics for the progressive movement and our goals. I respect that in an important way. They are on the record. There are 118 House Dems who have publicly signed on to guarantee healthcare during this term. They are listed here. That sounds like 118 House Democrats who can use their leverage to get a Medicare for all floor vote. It's unacceptable that 118 coalition of Dems who support Medicare for all cannot even get a vote. Something to consider. Ultimately, I don't think that this is a bad idea. Incrementalism is good now, Hassan. Johnny Brasco 97, I believe you have never listened to my commentary if you think that I'm anti-incrementalist. I think that you truly have probably never, ever, ever been in here unless you are just here and annoyed and just to talk about how annoyed you are. Incrementalism is something that I, of course, believe in and something that I literally fucking advocate for on a regular basis. Okay? Decent take, but how mainstream would this get through since it's not since like it's Obamacare anymore? I was in Justin's dorm freshman year of college, guys. So damn nice and insightful, super smart and involved in all his classes and extracurriculars too. I hope he gets into politics after his NFL career because he'd be a banger congressman. I love Justin. He's great. He was a fucking machine. He was a goddamn machine at getting people to go out and vote during their primaries. Criticizing Jimmy Dore without mentioning Tulsi challenge? Well, I did do that. I criticized Jimmy Dore for how wrong he was in the conversation between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump all the way back in 2016 when I debated him on this matter as well. So that has nothing to do with Tulsi Gabbard. I've known Jimmy Dore for a very long time. I will always respect him because he spat in Alex Jones's face. So, I mean, here's AOC in her own words, repeatedly endorsing the strategy of forcing a Medicare for all vote. We don't have 100 years. We have Medicare for all now. It just takes courage. What changed?
Democrats.
Hi, Jimmy.
We need the elected officials that you helped get elected to tell Nancy Pelosi that you will not vote for her as speaker.
AOC's being a Dem and not Dem stock, bro. She's starting to realize the truth on being a Democrat in the Republican world. No, I think that what is happening here, like I said, I think that what is happening here is literally AOC weighing her fucking options. Can you read Kyle Steak? I will in a second. Weighing her options, seeing how much influence she has, in the Democratic Party, seeing that it's not fucking enough, and basically saying we need to hold off on pressuring Medicare for all because getting Democrats on the record against Medicare for all right now is not going to do Medicare for all the justice and the service that you think it is. That's my opinion. Maybe AOC has a different opinion than that. But I personally think that getting Democrats on the record to be fucking, to openly say no to Medicare for all in the middle of a pandemic isn't as good as isn't a good look for Medicare for all at all. That's what I was trying to say. It only will, it won't destroy the Democratic Party like you think it is. It won't destroy the Democratic Party like you think it is. many of these Democratic politicians are not going to be scared into fucking voting yes because there's too much public pressure. It's only going to make Medicare for all look worse. That's my take on it. But maybe I'm wrong. I think putting pressure, especially when there is a lot of public support for it, is ultimately a good thing. How is getting a medical policy during a pandemic a bad look? Because one, it's not going to fucking pass. And two, when you have House Democrats openly fucking push back against it, it's not going to make them look bad. It's going to make the policy look bad. Because everyone is going to turn around and say, look, even Democrats don't want Medicare for all. Look at these fucking spoiler-ass progressives. It will go along with the narrative. It will go along with the narrative that like the fucking Democrat, the leftists in the Democratic Party are spoilers and bad. Okay.
1 year, Abby.
But maybe I'm wrong. I want Medicare for all, and yeah, a lot of public support means jack shit in this case. When you have outlets like MSNBC and CNN that can spin the narrative to the liking, this is going to turn Medicare for all into a poison pill. Exactly. That's my take. I want Medicare for all. I want them to put pressure on legislators for Medicare for all, but I don't believe that they're going to push for Medicare for all. I don't even believe that they're going to push for the public option. So fucking kill the public option then. Put public option on the docket. Make them say no to the public option. Make them say no to that, because then you're weakening the fucking public option and you're maintaining the integrity of Medicare for all. Because I don't even fucking believe that they want the public option to pass. That was the argument that I think. That is what I believe. Dude, I love your stream and I don't disagree with you on much, but you were tripping on this. I can hear what you're saying, but this is such small action from AOC can take to many people's lives. Well, I don't give a shit about like AOC expending political capital either, by the way. If she wants to do it, then go ahead, go off. I'm talking about protecting the integrity of Medicare for all as a bill. I don't care about AOC's positioning in the party. I don't care about her political capital. I'm specifically talking about this from the point of view of Medicare for all. Okay, in the absence of public pressure that is well organized, when there isn't any sort of threat, when there isn't any sort of fucking institutional power or collective bargaining that we can engage in, and we just simply say, we're going to get the Democrats to vote no on Medicare for all, and it's going to be a bad look, Sweaty, in the middle of a pandemic. Yeah, that sounds great, but the reality is that will only make Medicare for all look worse overall. Okay? M4A lost in the primaries. It's not as popular as you think. Okay, you're a fucking moron. It didn't lose in the primaries. If you look at the fucking exit polling data, literally everyone that voted for Joe Biden still was like, yeah, we think Joe Biden is good, and we think that Medicare for all is good. And now is not the time, by the way. Like, the time is whenever we have the power. Okay? And I don't mean like against the Republicans. I'm not doing the liberal incrementalism. You can do it if you want. You can push for this pressure if you want. But all you're going to get is Democrats saying no to Medicare for all, and then Medicare for all ultimately looking worse overall. That's my take on it. Maybe I'm wrong. And again, I am a fierce advocate for Medicare for all, so I don't care if it's a good thing. And if I am actually wrong, then fuck yeah, that's awesome. Would public option be viewed as a proxy to M4A? A bad vote on the public option would hurt M4A as well? No, it's what you make of it. But we should do Jimmy's plan with a public option and $15 minimum wage and everything Dems campaign on. Biden already said he would support this. What we should not do is concede to Republicans. Can you show an in-depth Medicare for all poll? There's like a million of them. Hold on one second. If the public option fails, then why would the next level beyond work instead? It would poison pill the topic of government healthcare, look worse overall, lol. The public option is one that the Democrats themselves have advocated for. If they go back on their word that they don't even want public option, then it's over. Like they're fucking, that makes them look worse than even saying no on Medicare for all. If your strategic goal is to make Democrats look bad in the middle of a pandemic by voting no for a fucking healthcare proposal that is good for the people, then make them vote no for a healthcare proposal that they themselves said that they wanted to fucking push. You can't say that Joe Biden didn't run on public option. He literally ran on the public option. I personally think he's not even going to go for the public option. That's precisely why I'm saying be a little bit more strategic. If you're going to have them fall on a sword, make them fall on their own goddamn sword. The sword that they claimed that they would fucking wield. The sword that they claimed that they would fight for. That's it. That's the point. Okay, the Dems already don't support public option. They had 59 votes in 2010 and they gave up on it because of Joe Lieberman. No, they do. They do now. They claim that they do now. Let's hear it. Let's see. Let's see them put their money where their fucking mouth is. That's my take. It will make the entire left look bad. Leftists were forcing a doom vote and conservative Dems opposing their party. Republicans win in the end. You have me in the first part, King. Is true. We don't have any real power and we need to build dual power to do this. We need to build an actual workers' party. Okay, shut the fuck up. But yeah, we do need to build outside fucking pressure. It's not going to happen with just, AOC or fucking Ilhan Omar or, 8 other fucking freshman congressional Democrats that are progressive or progressive adjacent. That's not how it's going to work. How it's going to work is if you have that and also organizations, grassroots mobilization all around the fucking country. You have workers' unions that are saying we're going to do work stoppages if you don't fucking do this. You have nurses saying we're not going to treat people anymore if you don't fucking do this. That's how you could potentially push for it. That's how you'd have to stress the Republicans to get on board with it as well. The libs' whole gig is promises made, promises broken. Let them die by their own promise. If you're going to let them die by their own promise, why don't you let them die on the public option, which is literally their own promise, whereas the Medicare for all is the leftist promise, making the Medicare for all argument look worse and like a unicorn in the way that they fucking Democrats try to present it is not good overall to pass Medicare for all when you do have any sort of fucking political power to be able to push for it. That's my take. That's why I would rather get them to be on board with the public option, something that I don't think they're going to be on board with anyway. Ultimately, I will never fucking disagree that like applying pressure to congressional Democrats is a bad thing. Okay, establishment Democrats deserve and desperately need to be pressured into doing the right thing. They're never ever going to they're never going to do the right thing just because we ask nicely for it or because we want it. So Justin Jackson is absolutely correct in this line where he says power concedes nothing without a demand. That is 1,000% true. Okay, 1,000,000% true. Real question that will help me engage with the folks on here who I think are coming from a good place. Why is a vote on the House floor for Medicare for all considered so obviously better than other demands? What's so useful about the floor? We already know who backs it and who doesn't. Okay, I think I get it. People think the co-sponsor list is fake, but a vote would be real. Sorry to say, but that's so wrong. A vote on a bill won't pass Senate is just as symbolic as the act of co-sponsoring. Exactly. Ryan Grimm is correct on this take as well, by the way. This is the reason why Kamala Harris, for example, is regarded as the most progressive politician in Congress. Why is she the most progressive politician in Congress? Because the only time she was ever in fucking Congress in the Senate was literally when she was a senator under the Trump administration, where she had no power whatsoever and literally voted for the most progressive bills possible. That doesn't mean that she's actually a progressive person. I used to say that all the fucking time whenever people would come in here and be like, but dude, Kamala Harris for VP. I mean, she's like, Kamala Harris for VP, dude. Like, she's the most progressive person. Like, aren't you excited about that? No, I'm not, because all of that progress is literally just nothing. It's garbage. Anyway, they're both posturing. So if you have leverage, get something real. And regardless, by the way, it will still make it seem, the part of which I don't agree with is like, if you have congressional Democrats forced to act, even if they're fucking posturing, they will turn around and be like, this hurts us. This hurts us overall as the National Democratic Party because posturing on Medicare for all hurts us in the long run against the Republicans. That's it. So if you want them to take action, if you want them to posture further by symbolically casting a vote on the floor of on the House, then all you need to do is make them fucking cast the vote on their own proposals because they don't even want to do their own proposals. Incremental progress is still progress. It's true that Kamala Harris is the most progressive Democrat in office at the moment. That's a fact. That's not a fucking fact. Shut the fuck up.
White people happy.
Anyway. Biden could give everyone who had COVID Medicare by executive action. That would end up being 30 million more people. They could try to extract a commitment from Pelosi to demand that in exchange for government funding bills, whatever, real things are possible. This is true. You could greatly expand Medicare by executive action, something that Ryan Grimm, both friend of the show Ryan Grimm and friend of the show David Dane have talked about and discussed in great detail on Ryan's Deconstructed podcast. Or also you can find that proposal and numerous other proposals on the Prospect, on the American Prospect. David Dayen is the editor-in-chief of the American Prospect, where they wrote the first 100-day proposals and all of the things that the Biden administration could do, specifically by utilizing previous congressional powers that were afforded to the presidency or the executive orders. So Ryan, when he's not saying weird shit on Twitter, yes, we look away when Ryan says stuff about the dude jerk off McGee or I don't know.
With lockdown. But your
I just refuse to acknowledge those points that Ryan makes. Those are not points that I care about. Yeah, the day one agenda is one article from the Prospect, but the other one is, I think, what Joe Biden could do in the first what Joe Biden can do with executive orders. Ryan, when he's not talking about Tubin, exactly. I don't know. Ryan has never actually talked about Tubin, so okay. Also, we've seen this try. The GOP put Obamacare repeal on the floor 50 times and passed it when they knew Obama would veto it. Then, when they got power and they couldn't repeal it, the floor vote had been theater for their gullible base. To demand similar treatment is confused. The funny thing is that a handful of Democrats could band together and actually block Pelosi from becoming speaker. You'd think the tough demand from the left would be to do that, not to capitulate for a theatrical vote on the floor. As opposed to what else? To me, the global pandemic, high death rate, and 14 million kicked off health insurance makes the optics particularly bad for Dems who won't support it. Also, it's enormously popular. The gap between public support and congressional support is shocking. Again, I agree with all of that. I agree with every single thing there. But it's going to be a bad look sweaty for the Democrats isn't the particularly best strategy you think it is. I just don't think it's a good strategy. If you want it to be a bad look sweaty, don't tie it to fucking Medicare for all. Tie it to a plan that they pushed for, like the public option.
Hi Hassan, hi Chad.
I just don't want Medicare for all to be considered like this delusional fucking idea in the way that MSNBC and other Democrats present it as such. Okay? Ryan, you and I both know who backs it and who doesn't, but I can tell you from experience that a centrist in a tough primary battle who has worked to oppose tougher policies for years will pivot to paper support in order to lie. A vote against the policy locks them in for a primary. Don't you think this would be more bad for the establishment Democrats in the general elections against Republicans? Like, I genuinely believe that the people want Medicare for all. If Dems vote against Medicare for all, that might disenfranchise the voters. Not all progressives are primarying everybody. I'm not a troll, just a thought. Fuck you. You said there were no spoilers for the Cyberpunk gameplay, but then you showed the endings. Fuck you, Hassan. Wait, what do you mean? It's not just a bad look. Sweaty people are literally dying. Politics isn't just a sport. It has real consequences. Okay, so the people who say this, do you think magically that it's going to pass in the Senate or something? Like, just because it was brought up in the House and voted on in the House? Like, what do you think is going to happen?
iChat and Hassan.
Like, I know that people are dying. I want Medicare for all. I've been advocating for Medicare for all this entire fucking time. But do you think that, like, as soon as it gets brought up in the fucking floor of the House, that, like, senators are going to be like, all right, I guess we're down to do this now? Like, no. I know people are dying, but that reality is not going to change. The goal for this forcible vote is specifically, as stated by the people that are wanting to force this to happen, is theatrics, as Ryan correctly pointed out. Theatrics that will make establishment Democrats look bad. Okay? They speculate that it'll make establishment Democrats look bad, but all they need to say is, sorry, this is just not something we can do. It's not feasible because, we're afraid of the Republicans. It's just a bad look. And you can point to every single Pew Center study. It doesn't matter. Electability is the main motivator for Democratic voters. So they can just say it's not, it makes us unelectable. And then every one of those fucking hogs, your parents that go out and vote, will then literally be like, well, it's not electable. It just seems like a unicorn proposal. They don't think about it. They have no capacity to fucking dream for better things. They don't think that a better future is even possible. Anyway. Does that make sense? Do you guys understand? Would them shitting on a public option be as damning or as visible as shitting on Medicare for all? I feel like it's much easier for Dems to just sweep any public option rat fucking they do under the rug. Why? It's a very defeatist attitude. I'm a leftist, man. It's a realistic attitude. Where is the Kyle Kalinske take? I love Kyle. I think Kyle always has really good ideas on this stuff. I think he's very good at crafting these sort of strategies. I would like to hear his take as well. Let's see. No, I don't want to watch a fucking YouTube video. I just want to see his take quickly. Is he hungry? One of the only real tools that the people have left is people power. Public pressure campaigns are great politics. We have a left that's willingly gives up its advantage for backroom talks that they perpetually get rolled. Okay. I don't disagree with this, but I do disagree with utilizing it now for Medicare for all. I just don't believe that they're like, I just don't believe that they are going to, use, the only solution is a home gang AOC versus Pelosi on the floor to the death. He disagrees with you. None of us disagree on applying pressure to Nancy Pelosi. What we are simply disagreeing on is what is the most bang for your buck. Okay? I believe that the most bang for our buck as lefties is to apply pressure specifically on the fucking promises that Democrats claimed that they were going to do. If it's ultimately a symbolic move, then don't allow Medicare for all to get fucking cast aside. Okay? Don't allow Medicare for all to get cast aside in this conversation. Focus your efforts on public option. I want Medicare for all to pass, but why would you fucking throw that as a pure theatrical point? That's my take on it. If you force a vote on Medicare for all, even if you lose, you win. You're the people who fought for healthcare during a pandemic with 300K deaths and millions hemorrhaging insurance. You remind people of that constantly, and you ride the wave in 2022. The naysayers who think they're clever strategists are the exact opposite. They're just rationalizing the status quo and pretending it's edgy and intelligent. I don't know. I think it would be a better look. I think it would be a better look to get them to force, if they're not going to push for it, if the Democrats are not going to push for it regardless, then get them to fucking push for a public option, which they promised they were going to do. If your entire goal is to make the establishment Democrats look fucking silly as shit and liars, then again, make them look like fucking liars on something that they claim they would advocate for, that I know they're not going to. Okay? Hassan is most definitely not too online. We have the numbers to start a grassroots movement. We just have to realize as citizens that if we start making waves, they have no choice but to listen. We have more power than most because the country thinks, but I understand that they doubt it because the government has belittled the citizens and they fuck the system. Yeah. What is this? The right wing. The right wing and center never put aside their priorities and then rationalize their failures. They relentlessly push and message coalition to build, twist arms, and take no prisoners. Only the left is dumb enough to pretend defeatism is edgy and intelligent and necessary. Wait, I agree with this as well. If Medicare for All is going to lose in the current political climate, you either go down laying down or go down fighting. If you fight, you one, get people on the record. We know who to primary. Two, shift the Overton window in your favor, like the Tea Party. Force the vote, no brainer. Leftists arguing against having votes on our core issues are doing the establishment's work for them. You're not doing some brilliant, high-minded strategy. We don't understand. You're just weak, scared of the consequences, and rationalizing. The left, unfortunately, has to be a big tent party because the Senate structurally disadvantages them. No, you guys are misunderstanding what I'm saying. I'm not saying that we need to fucking cave and concede to the public option and advocate for the public option. What I'm conceding or caving to is the notion that no matter what fucking initiative Democrats have claimed they care about, whether it's the public option or Medicare for All, they're not going to do it because they're terrified of fucking public pressure. So my goal is to protect the integrity of Medicare for All as a proposal rather than allow it to be open to fucking additional attacks that will inevitably occur. So that is I don't have a problem with pressuring Nancy Pelosi. I don't have a problem with fucking pressuring the Democratic Party. I simply do not want additional attacks to occur on Medicare for All at a time when it's purely symbolic. If it's purely symbolic, and in that sense, by the way, I disagree with AOC. I think AOC should apply pressure to Nancy Pelosi. I don't even agree with AOC in that respect. I think AOC and others should pressure Nancy Pelosi. So I am in agreement with Kyle and Justin and even Jimmy Dore in that regard. You're just caping kind of blindly for AOC in that case. I am not caping blindly for AOC in that case because, again, you are failing to understand what I am saying. Okay? Pressure them, but pressure them on something that they themselves have advocated for that I do not believe they're going to do. Okay? They themselves are not going to push for the public option. And if it's theatrical, and if it's going to be considered fucking, too much to do and too much to win elections over with, then fucking make them vote on the public option. They said that they were going to run on the public option. That's precisely what Joe Biden ran on. I think that's a better strategy to go about it. Forcing the Medicare for All vote is one thing, but AOC on the record is saying Pelosi doesn't support her. Why should she support Pelosi for speaker? Yeah, I don't have a problem with like fucking pressuring Nancy Pelosi or not wanting Nancy Pelosi to be speaker. Even though Nancy Pelosi is still a complex individual who has given AOC and Ilhan Omar really good positions, really good committee positions that she did not have to give. So that is probably one of the reasons why Ilhan Omar and AOC and other congressional Democrats aren't fucking like ripping her apart all the time, despite the fact that she is also a horrible. She's just horrible and absolutely operates as an additional bottleneck against progressive measures. So there is that too. There's a give and take no matter what happens. Do you think after the pandemic that MSNBC can still be so starkly against Medicare for all? Dude, what are you guys, crazy? Are you nuts?
Hi.
What? They don't give a shit. What are you talking about?